All right, guys, Outside TV and TVA Summit. Excited to be talking to Lance and Kinji from the Big Gear Show. Monster show, guys. Summertime, it's coming up.
It's coming
Thanks,
like a
Scott.
freight train.
Hey, what are the
Yeah.
dates, Kinji, getting right into it? What are the dates of the show? People are excited about it. We're back in action around here. What are the dates?
Hey, I know. They're right there. They're right there, Scott. Can you see them? Yeah. That's the August 3rd through 5th. It's happening.
Okay, sounds great. And Lance, tell us a little bit about the show. If people have heard about the show, give us some details. What's happening behind the scenes?
Sure. Well, the Big Gear Show is in an inaugural state. It's the first running of this event. It's held in fantastic Deer Valley Resort in Park City.
Nice.
It is a business-to-business event that's going to span those dates that Kenji just revealed behind him. It's a Tuesday through Thursday show.
Okay.
We've invited and curated this show very carefully to have some of the best retailers in North America to meet with manufacturers who make the products that get people on gear outside.
Okay, Kinji, and who's following up on what Lance just said? Who's the show for? Who can you expect to be attending the show?
Well, we have invited, it's an invitation-only event, and we've invited the best retail shops, owners, and buyers across bicycle, outdoor, and paddle sports into the show environment, as well as the brands that make that gear that gets people outdoors. So primarily around equipment and accessories, but that includes technical footwear and technical apparel. So it's a pretty broad swath, but highly focused, curated audience.
Lance, what are you seeing in terms of the level of interest as we've gotten out of this pandemic and people are back in action? Does attendance look good or kind of medium? What seems to be the reaction so far to the show?
Well, the show kind of chugged along a little slowly. I'm not going to lie to you. During the initial phase of launching the event, which was around November of last year, great interest, but of course, everyone was proceeding very cautiously with the pandemic. I think Kenji will agree. I think when the CDC lifted the mask mandate and we began to see some light at the end of the tunnel, we've gotten busier and busier and busier. And that's been since around, I guess, the middle of May. We feel like the attendance is going to be moderately strong. The brands are very excited. And for an inaugural event at the post end of a pandemic, we're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm on my heels big time, Scott, with incoming. And Lance knows this. I can't really even keep up. It's pretty nonstop each day.
Well, and I know you guys, I mean, anyone who's done events knows it's a full-time job. And as you get closer to event dates, it gets busy. Kinji, what are some of the categories that are hot going into the show, coming out of this pandemic? What are some of the categories you think are kind of at the top of the list in terms of the hot factor?
Well, you know, I'm pretty focused on outdoors, so no pun intended, but the stoves and cooking is a really big presence at the show across a lot of the different exhibits. There's also trail running, climbing. We have a climbing village and all the top climbing brands are going to be there. So that's really exciting as a climber myself. So I think that's it. There's actually interest around overlanding as well. So the vehicle assisted aspect of the outdoor industry and just the idea that bike, paddle sports, you know, kayak, sup, canoe, and outdoor are coming together. That's the first time this is happening ever. So it's that's what people seem to be really psyched about.
Yeah. Lance, speaking of that, and I think Kinji's hit on a big point. A lot of people who are skiers are now also biking. They're also camping. This pandemic really kind of forced us outside. And now that we're outside, we all realize how much we really do love it. And there's all these cool activities. What's happening in the bike world? What are you excited about? What are the trends there?
Well, I mean, right now, as everybody's probably been reading, cycling is on fire. And it really is on fire across most categories, if not all categories.
You can't even buy a bike.
I noted, I'm sorry?
You can't even buy a bike sometimes, right?
You can't. I mean, bikes right now are back ordered for almost a year out, which is pretty crazy. But I know that the manufacturers are working pretty hard to get caught up. And I think we're going to see some changes in that dismal part of the story. But I am seeing it across almost every discipline and almost every segment. Interestingly enough, for our show, we have great interest from the e-bike community. No surprise there. So electric bikes are going to be there and prevalent. And protective gear, helmets, and some of the body armor you wear for mountain biking. We have a lot of interest in that area as well. So I'm calling out two of the categories that I'm seeing the most interest from, but I think it's really across the board.
Okay, no, fantastic. Any closing thoughts, Kinji?
Well, I think this idea of coming back together, people are so excited to come back and see each other. And even in the way that we've been planning the event, we're trying to make enough time to really facilitate that. Seeing each other, talking story, and thinking about 2022 and beyond and what that's going to be like, and being able to be back in a face-to-face environment seems to be the most exciting thing about it. So we're excited too about that.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I appreciate you guys popping in. Great show. Can't wait for it. We're out and about. Lots of great stuff, and can't wait for August to roll around. It'll be here before we know it.
No doubt.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Appreciate the time.
Okay, thanks, Lance.
Great talking to you, Scott. Thank you.